Good morning, everybody. Today we'll be making some creme brulee, all right? And the ingredients for creme brulee are 12 yolks. I've already started here in this container. We're gonna add a quart of heavy cream to a heavy pot, okay? And I've already put my heavy cream in there. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. What is a pinch? You're gonna take your thumb and your finger and just take a small amount. That's what a pinch is. I'm using pink salt, but you can use whatever salt you want, okay? Also in here, I have a cinnamon stick, okay? Why use a cinnamon stick? Because it's going to impart flavor without imparting any color to your creme brulee. So that's why I use a stick versus the powder. All right. In addition, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla. Now, we could add vanilla bean, but vanilla bean's pretty expensive. Not everybody has it, okay? And we're going to just add a little bit. I'm using, that says half a teaspoon, but it's a teaspoon in reality, which is fine, okay? And then to my heavy cream, I'm gonna add 1 cup of sugar. Now, I don't have a leveling spatula in front of me, but I do have a straight edge, which is the other side of my rubber spatula. Okay, so I'm just gonna level that off into the container, and I'm gonna put that into my heavy cream. Okay. We're gonna give this a stir, just to dissolve, and because it's so hot already, it should dissolve pretty quickly. Now, like I said, we are going to separate the yolks from the whites, and you always want to do this one at a time, okay? Because this recipe calls for the yolks only. What do the yolks do? Well, the yolks act as the thickener. They impart some flavor, okay? And they definitely impart color. So I'm gonna add the yolk to that. I'm gonna add my whites here. And I'm not gonna throw out my whites. So what I'm gonna do with my whites is I'm gonna save them so I can make an angel food cake later for you all, okay? And I'm also gonna save my eggshells because I'm gonna use them for compost. So I already checked the temperature of my cream, and it was pretty hot, like almost 200 degrees. And as you can see from the stain, it's very warm. So, because it's very warm, and I don't want to make scrambled eggs, you're going to temper your eggs. What does that mean? You're going to take a small amount of milk. Let's see, there goes mine. And you're going to use that to drizzle in to bring up the temperature, or temper your yolks, okay? And this will prevent them from becoming scrambled eggs, because you want a nice, luxurious texture. You don't want your eggs to coagulate on you like scrambled eggs. So I'm gonna do this little by little. And you want to work smart, so let's actually bring this closer together. And you notice I'm trying really not to incorporate too much air into it, because you don't want a lot of air bubbles. I mean, you're naturally going to get them, but you don't want to add any additional ones. So now that my yolks are pretty warm, now I can add my yolks back into my pot okay? And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna actually take out my cinnamon stick because it's not really helping when I stir. So I'm gonna add the heat back on. I'm gonna slowly add my yolks. And I wanna get all of my yolks in the milk mixture. Now this is very similar to how you make ice cream. And I just want to make sure that it's at the temperature of 185. Why 185? Because that's when your yolks start to thicken a little bit. And I'm almost there. And at this point, you want to work fairly quickly. Again, you don't want your eggs to scramble, but you want a nice, luxurious creme brulee. So what you want to do is you want to strain this out. Okay. And I don't have 3 arms. My husband is being very kind and helping me strain this. And what am I using? This is called a china cap. And it's just a really, really fine textured sieve. Okay. And why do you do this extra step? And I'm going to show you in a little bit. If you kind of go into my, and look at my rubber spatula, you see what's coagulated is really the chalaise of the egg. It coagulates pretty quickly before the yolk or the white. So that's why we want to strain it. All right. Now, the thing here is, I have plain creme brulee. I could leave it plain, or I could flavor it. Now, when it comes to flavoring, I have a few options. If I wanted to add some instant espresso powder, all right, this is from Starbucks called Via. You can also get other brands. You would add that and make it a coffee flavored, or if you wanted, you could also make it chocolate flavored. How do you do that? Well, you take your chocolate chips, okay? And again, you're gonna take some of this liquid and you're gonna add it right there. Now, as you do that, you wanna just stir it a little bit. And you mix it up. Now, if you wanted, you could strain this as well. We're not going to. Now, here's the thing. If you notice, some of the chocolate doesn't really look like it's fully melted. It almost looks a little separated. And that could be because this egg mixture is a little too hot, and that sometimes happens, okay? Which is totally fine. But that looks like it's a pretty uniform, homogeneous texture. So that's what we're looking for. Now what we do is we're going to take our mixture and then we can put it into our ramekins. I'm gonna fill it, okay. And I'm gonna leave, I would say, about 3/4 of an inch of like space, okay? I'm gonna put a lid on it. And then the next step is it's going to go into a water bath, a special water bath called sous vide. So basically it's going to go into this container. It'll be submerged with water, and this sous vide stick is going to keep that water at a constant temperature of 176 for about an hour or so, okay? And then the finished product, I will show you, you'll notice that it will be nice and silky and smooth, but it will coagulate slightly. All right, and that is how we make creme brulee.